this will lead me into the interoperability questions. What are state proofs and how do they work?
Yeah, so state proofs are seeking to solve the problem of bridging between blockchains. So if you think about how do you bridge an asset from one chain to the other? You're not actually picking it up and moving it. In almost all cases, you're sort of locking it up on one chain and then unlocking it on the other chain. And in some cases, you're burning it, but usually it's sort of locked up. So you can think of it sort of like a collateralized asset. So you lock it up here, unlock it here, lock it here. Now I can get it over here. And you got to just kind of maintain the sync. The last thing you want is this, right? Because if you get this, all of a sudden you've got one asset, two places, you got a real problem. Okay, so what you're trying to do here is, how do I make that decision? How do I know, how does this blockchain know that it's locked up on this blockchain and vice versa? And there's a couple of ways to go about that. The easiest way is just to, like, I don't know, JT, you tell me, right? Like, just tell me when it's locked up over here, and then we'll all be safe over here because you're not going to lie to me. And in some cases, this is like a good strategy. For example, USDC does a bridge between all their different chains for USDC. And there's really no sort of trust model impact there because they already have control over that asset, right? They're the asset issuer. They can deny list, allow list, that kind of stuff. And so you might as well do a centralized bridge because often, like, there are benefits to centralization. You can get a nicer user experience. You can own the user. You can do all sorts of things for them. But in a case where maybe that asset issuer doesn't have control, or they're not the asset issuer, then, like, what's the next step? I don't want to do the centralized thing. Okay, well, let me get a bunch of people together. So I'll get 10 people that I know and have good reputations because they're not going to lie to me. And there might be a good use case for that, but you might say, well, but what if one of them gets subverted? Okay, great. I'm going to add in economic incentives. Anybody can join this group of people that's going to tell us whether or not we can unlock and lock. But if they say the wrong thing, they're going to get slashed, and they got to bond some money. And you get into these, like, ever increasing sort of complexities to try and say what the state is on the different blockchains. And so state proofs seek to eliminate that entirely, or make those solutions trustless, because in some cases that's like a multi-chain bridge. And so there's different ways they can hook into different chains. So what do state proofs actually do? State proofs, it's a proof where the blockchain effectively commits to the state of the blockchain at a particular block. It gets put into a cryptographic proof. It's signed by the online validators for Algorand. And then this proof is now portable, and you can drop it into a smart contract on another chain. And from that smart contract, you can now verify whether or not transactions have occurred on Algorand from a separate chain. And so in terms of your trust model, you need someone to move the state proof. So for liveness, I need someone for liveness, but I don't need them for safety, right? Like, they can't hand me a fake state proof, or they can, but I will know it's fake. And in that way, you sort of totally remove the trust between these two blockchains. If you trust the smart contract and the blockchain over here, and you trust the Algorand blockchain, that's all you need to trust. And I should hope you trust both blockchains that you're bridging between, or I'm not sure why you're bridging between them. And so it's this effort to really reduce the trust needed, because when you think about blockchains, it's sort of like the promise of blockchain is that you can operate in a completely trustless environment, but that's only true within a blockchain, and we want to make sure that that is true when you go elsewhere in the ecosystem as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure a
Well, it's
lot of
kind of rambly. Hopefully that was a reasonable explanation.
No, that's perfect. And I'm sure a lot of people in the space have been, quite aware of some of the criticisms Vitalik Buterin has given towards some of these decentralized bridges,
Yeah.
or, some of them are actually pretty centralized anyway, but, they've been prone to a lot of DeFi hacks. So this is a very anticipated upgrade. Is there a
Yeah.
timeline? Is there a specific timeline for when this feature will be implemented?
Yeah, for sure. So we released the keys. So we released a new key type on Algorand. It's a quantum resilient key type using the Falcon signature scheme, which is a quantum resilient scheme. We released that in a release, I want to say about a month ago at the end of Q1. And so if you are running a node and you're out there, please regenerate your participation keys, and this new state proof key will also be generated, and then you'll be ready to go. The next milestone is actually the code to create the state proofs. We expect to get that done in this quarter, in which case we'll push that out. It'll be a consensus release, and then the state proofs will automatically start being generated.
Now, is the ultimate goal with state proofs complete cross-chain functionality, and meaning Could a DApp leverage state proofs to create a DEX to trade other assets like Luna or Solana through the Algorand blockchain?
Yeah, so to be super specific about what state proofs do, they allow Algorand state to be understood by I'll call them foreign blockchains, external other blockchains. It doesn't help Algorand understand other blockchains state. So what we would like to see, we'd love to see it become a standard where any proof of stake blockchain is generating state proofs or something similar that can be used in a similar way. And then for sure, it's a huge enabler of cross-chain, safe cross-chain bridging, and even can enable some safe cross-chain sort of dexes or exchanges that live off-chain, but are entirely using state proofs from other chains.
Now, still sticking with the theme of interoperability, I know this is on the foundation side, but Applied Blockchain was recently awarded a grant to create what is called the London Bridge, a trustless bridge between Algorand and Ethereum. Do you have any insight to how far along this is?
I don't have insight there. I do know Adi and the team over at Applied Blockchain is a great team, and they do great work. So I'm excited to see what comes out of it. But I don't have an update there. As you said, that's on the foundation side.
I hope you enjoyed that clip, and if you'd like to see the entire video, click the link down in the description below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because it really helps to get the word out there. Thanks.